Supercell finally released every cooldown for the anticipated yet controversial gadget rework, but some of them are questionable. So today I will be reworking all of the cooldowns for the best and worst gadget sets in the game. Let's get into it. Shelly is notorious for her set of gadgets. Clay pigeons all the way, yeah. And even her dash has been done so much injustice with a dash like Max's or Maisie's. So I'm thinking Shelly's dash will be 10 seconds flat. Clay pigeons, likely double that, maybe a little more, 20-25 seconds. Shelly's gadgets are just too similar in cooldown. For example, fast forward is 13 seconds, but clay pigeon is 16. I understand Shelly is someone they want to be careful with because if she's able to close the gap too easily, she'll become busted. Hence why her having a lot of speed got reverted because she became S tier with just a speed change. So while that makes sense, clay pigeon is just too good to be only 3 more seconds than fast forward. I don't think they should necessarily nerf clay pigeons. I think that fast forward should just be a lot less of a cooldown. Maybe about 10 seconds, and then clay pigeons could be 20. El Primo's second gadget, Meteor Belt, is slightly outdated. Even outside of Brawl Ball, the one where he launches his opponents is more effective and more versatile. He can launch you defensively, or he can launch you offensively. He can launch you, super onto you, cycle supers, etc, etc. That gadget is definitely better, so I'm going to give that one 20 seconds. Now, for his Meteor Belt, he can't really control his wall breaks, and even then, his wall breaks are counterintuitive to him. So I would say 10 seconds or so. El Primo is a similar case with 14 and 30 second cooldown, but for Suplex, it's like he's always gonna have one when defending in Brawl Ball and overall have it a lot more often. Paired with the super, it's especially deadly, but for his Asteroid Belt, he literally can't really manipulate where he wants to place it, and even then, he has to break the walls, which is counterintuitive to him. So I think this one should be a lot more often. Suplex supplement, probably like 17 seconds, Asteroid Belt, like 10. I don't want to make it too low because we don't want El Primo to be like a super wall breaker. Rosa has the same problem, where her first gadget is outdated. Yeah, she spawns bushes, cool. Then someone could immediately destroy the bushes. So it's kind of like, okay, cool. And now that they have timers, you can't just spam the 3 uses anymore. So instead, I'm thinking Rosa's first gadget, 10 seconds would be fair in case they have no wall breakers, and it would allow you to do it semi-frequently. As for her second gadget, it is very good on bushy maps, but you wouldn't be using Rosa if it wasn't a bushy map anyways, unless, well, you're bad random. So I'm thinking 25 seconds. Rosa's is an iffy one because unfriendly bushes being 14 seconds. I mean, you only play Rosa on bushy maps anyways, but what's interesting is now you can make the map bushy with Grow Light, which is now 10 seconds. Of course, this cooldown pretty much counters all the wall breaks that happen during the game. Barley's Hypercharge, Cold, Super, Silver Bullet, all that stuff. So I don't think it's going to be busted. As for the second one though, this one should definitely be more. Say at 17 seconds, I'd say it should be 20-25. Since we're in the super rare segment, you know what else is super rare? People subscribing when they watch my videos. If you want to support me, you can become a member or simply subscribe. Also, join the Discord for active sneak peeks on videos, and join the Brawl Stars Club for active Mega Pigs. Anyways, enjoy the rest of the video. Alright, so now let's get into Dynamike, because let's talk about this. The stun gadget, 30 seconds. Not even debate. Fidget spinner, it does a lot of damage and it gives you a speed boost, so it could be good for escaping or generally kind of confirming kills maybe. See, it has utility. It's just so outshined by stun, so I would say I'll give it half the effectiveness of stun, so it'd be 15 seconds. Alright, let's just get to Dynamike. Satchel charge is 23 seconds. Even if the cooldown activates after you throw the charge, it's only 23 seconds. And one thing about the gadget rework is there are some gadgets that in Fear or FOMO you want to use as often as possible to get the most value out of them, since you get more per game now. Satchel charge is unfortunately one of these examples, same for fidget spinner. Realistically, someone's gonna pop satchel charge and get like 6 gadgets, 7 gadgets a game. This gadget should definitely be 30. It is literally one of the best in the game, if not the best. Fidget spinner is actually pretty underrated though. I would say Supercell might even nerf the damage considering it's half the cooldown of satchel charge and deals 2000 per stick. Tick is another example of one very clear good gadget and one very clear bad. I think that's the reason Supercell made this change instead of making all the gadgets balanced, is that they want to give you an option of, hey, this one's better with a higher cooldown, whereas the other one is not as strong, but you can use it more frequently. That's a new system that that would change the game drastically, especially for the future. With that being said, Tick's second gadget where you can just blow up enemies away from him, definitely gonna be 30 seconds. However, Mind Mania, definitely an offensive tool more than it is defensive. I'm gonna give this one 10 seconds. Actually, that's kind of toxic. Never mind, 15. Tick's actually surprised me because Mind Mania being the same cooldown as Last Hurrah makes absolutely no sense. Last Hurrah literally counters tanks and assassins trying to jump on him. It's a lifesaver pretty much every time. You can bait it, yeah. If you get hit by it in your Edgar, for example, there's no coming back from that. Mind Mania is probably fine as a cooldown. Maybe could be like 13, 10 seconds. But Last Hurrah definitely needs to be at least 25, 30. Penny's Salty Barrel definitely warrants 30 seconds. You can counter assassins and some tanks if you hit all her coins. Whereas her other one, it doesn't directly do anything because if your opponent steps out of the way, your gadget didn't do anything. Might be useful in 5v5 currently. So with that being said, I think I'm gonna make it 15 seconds. Penny's Salty Barrel definitely has its use case. Not only can block shots, but it can also let her defend against assassins, some tanks if they're low. A use case like this should definitely be more than 18 seconds. 23 would be more fair, maybe 23, 25. The other one is pretty much fine. Could be even be toxic with her hypercharge if it's like behind a good wall. Griff is an example of someone who could break the game if his cooldowns are done wrong. How? Because of his wall breaking gadget. Usually with the wall breaking gadget, you could either use them all at once and break up all the necessary walls you want, then you're out of gadgets. But this cooldown has to be careful because you can continuously break walls even if it's little by little. With that being said, 25 to 30 seconds would be fair. For his other one, it's kind of a similar situation to Mind Mania, except worse because Mind Mania gives you 100% more bombs, whereas this one gives you 35% more ammo, which hardly does anything and also doesn't negate the cooldown. You still have to shoot the coins. So with that being said, I want to say 10 seconds. And of course, the cooldown starts after you shoot all your coins of that attack. Griff has 16 seconds on his wall break, which is very scary because he can just go on popping walls wherever he wants. However, the only counter is that he has to go next to the wall, which if you're facing other mid-ranges like Maisie, for example, they can counter him and not allow him to get to that wall, but eventually he's going to get to that wall. He's just going to break some more walls along the way probably. And plus, you're always going to have it when you need it, which is a problem a lot of the gadgets have. As for Coin Shower, 11 seconds is the same thing as Mind Mania. It sucks. Although this one, I would say reduce the cooldown to about 7 seconds, and it's really not that bad because not only is it for one attack, if you're playing Griff, you're countering assassins and tanks as is, and you're already going to deal way more than enough damage, especially with your super and his future hypercharge. Colette has a very clear disparity because the healing is just way too good. So of course, yeah, that's 30 seconds, but at the same time, how much should her damage one be? It's in a situation kind of like Griff and Tick, however, it's plus 1000 base damage. Now, I'm no mathematician, but it would confirm a lot of kills. You'd be about 40% health, I'm pretty sure 50% health, and she'll kill a good majority of brawlers. So I think this is a very underrated gadget. It just hasn't had its chance to shine yet. Because of that, I want to be careful with it and say 15 seconds or so. I think only then would it be used. Maybe the batter gadget, solely because it's slower cooldown, but the healing is also just so good. You can just hit a Frank twice and you're fully healed back up. Hit 3 people at full health each once you're at full health. Colette's damage gear is 10 seconds and her healing one is 17 plus 5 for while you're actually using it, which basically makes it 22 or about double the first one. I would say this should make the gadget set a lot more balanced, but the healing one still is really good. You get to heal for 5 seconds. You hit one enemy at max HP, you pretty much get half your health back, if not more. It doesn't need a super crazy nerf. I would say nerf the duration to maybe 3-4 seconds instead of the actual cooldown, but if they want to keep the 5 seconds, they could just increase the cooldown by 3. Now see, with Bonnie, Gale, and Sam, I want to do them. However, one of their gadgets or their kit as a whole needs a complete rework in order to judge them. Like Bonnie, her crash star power is not good at all. Sam's gadget, absolutely horrendous, and Gale's with the launch pad, I think Gale just needs an updated gadget. Now Hank, the shield is really good, but I don't think it warrants 30 seconds because realistically you're holding onto it until a moment you have to go in, and realistically the only times you use it is if you have to go in without walls or facing a thrower. With that being said, I think 25 seconds would be fair. Water balloon, severely underrated, but it's like if you miss the shot or get interrupted during it, it does nothing. If you can't follow up with it, there's not much point to it, even if it's to help your teammates out. I think it's fair for Water Balloon to be 15 seconds. Hank is absolutely cracked. Both of his gadget cooldowns are under 20 seconds, which the shield one in total is 18 with the usage. Water Balloon is literally 11 plus 3, 14. They're both very good gadgets too. I think Water Balloon is super underrated. The shield one especially is so good because 40% damage reduction with Hank. You have more health than Frank with shield, I'm pretty sure. So honestly, as much as I love Hank, Barricade should probably be 3 more seconds. Water Balloon is mostly fine though. Maybe 1-2 seconds more. So for Squeak, his residue has been nerfed to the ground from 20 to 5 seconds. It's still really good because it slows and reveals, but his gadget set could be fixed. So I'm going to talk about the other one first. The 50% damage and double like range or whatever it is, pretty good, but he still has a thin attack. So if you don't hit it, it doesn't really do anything. And also so much range that if it doesn't hit a wall and it just goes out into the open, it's realistically not going to hit anything. Doesn't matter how much damage it does. I think wind up should be 5 to 10 seconds because of this. Also, I'm saying in multiples of 5 just for simplicity, but realistically, if I say 5 seconds, I mean 7 because Brawl Stars said 7 to 30 seconds. As for his residue, it is very good, so I'll make 20, maybe 25. Only thing it's not 30 is because what'll happen is the gadget, in my eyes, should reload after the residue is completely finished after 5 seconds. So realistically, if I said 25 seconds, it's basically already 30. If I said 30, 35, etc. Squeak is interesting. His first one is cooldown 11 seconds, more damage overall, more range overall. This is fair because if you miss it, okay, it's whatever. You're gonna get another one soon. As for residue, since it lasts for 6 seconds, if the cooldown begins after the 6 seconds, it's pretty fair. But again, it's an instant slowing area. Like you literally throw it. If you hit an opponent, they're guaranteed to pretty much die unless they're really tanky, especially with his super in play. So this one is iffy, but I'd say to be safe, 4 extra seconds and 1 reduced second for wind up. Doug needs a rework. I think we all agree on that. But if he gets a rework, let's talk about his gadgets. The double damage one is absolutely insane and wins so many matchups that it really shouldn't. So 30 seconds. The healing one doesn't do much because his attacks already heal so much in close proximity. So realistically, it wouldn't be busted if it was 5 seconds. Since grouping up isn't the best anyways, so many counters to that. Doug is currently a sitting duck. 5 seconds shouldn't be that bad. I don't know what they were cooking when they were reworking Doug's cooldowns. Why would you not use the damage one? The healing one sucks. Now I understand when Doug had his bug, his healing was stupid because he was healing the double the usual amount, but that was every attack. This is one attack every 15 seconds. Doug already has his problems. Maybe this is just for now and then they intend on reworking him. Damage should be 20, healing should be 10. That would make it a lot more balanced. For the miscellaneous section, these are all brawlers that either need a slight tweak to their gadget or a slight rework to their kit. Ems, Friend Zoner gadget, 30 seconds. This one literally pushes away assassins and tanks. All of these gadgets that do this should honestly be 30 seconds, like with Gale and such, because that seems the most fair. Some of them might even deserve 35. As for our second one, it's so underused because you usually have your super to attack behind walls so you can catch up to your opponent, then just spray them anyways. But the second gadget, it sprays and does 20% less damage, which not only hurts the attack if you hit all 3 shots, it hurts if you're doing the bad karma star power. So I would just remove that. I'd say 10 seconds, maybe 15. As for Ems, Friend Zoner being 18 seconds, very scary for assassins and tanks, but maybe their own cooldowns make up for it. But in comparison to acid spray, even with my rework of removing the damage penalty, it still sucks. Could be good though for like dueling beetles. Now for Meg, her healing gadget is not bad. First gadget definitely does help her in her mech, but it does have its counters. Like if you 2-tap her with Piper, tanks, it's not the best, not the worst, but making it too low would definitely be annoying to take Meg down. So I would say 20 seconds. As for the other one, which boosts reload speed, I think a brawler should have a mechanic of boosting reload speed, and that like their super could be a rare brawler. But since we have the toolbox, I would increase it by about 50% of its size and also give it a cooldown of maybe 15 seconds. You're not really going to use it to block shots because Meg is very tanky, but the reload is much better to keep it up. So realistically, 20 seconds should be good as well because with this change, it would basically be almost as big as a Pam turret, maybe half a tile of difference. So both of them would have the same cooldown. Now for Meg, dual scene volt is 70 seconds. Tell me why toolbox is 19? Even with my rework, I don't even know if it would last 19 seconds. This is definitely probably the worst one I've seen so far, other than Dynamike's. That's like saying fidget spinner should have 30 seconds while satchel chard has 15. Even with my rework, I would say toolbox maybe like 15. I get it's 35% reload speed, but the area is so small, you all have to stick together to make the best value of it. Healing isn't as busted as people think. One Piper shot undoes all of that healing. Dual scene volts maybe 20. It should at least be more than toolbox. For Kenji, his healing one still very good because if you take a Piper shot or even two and within the few seconds, you can heal back like 4,000 HP still, 3,000. Now, why you're going Kenji into Piper, I don't know. The healing one should definitely be 30 seconds considering he has a lot of ways to heal in his kit. He heals from basic attacks, he heals a lot from his super. Now, for his first star power, it only allows you to dash for the next few seconds. I think it should mimic whatever your next attack is going to be. So if it's just slashes, it should just be slashes for 5 seconds. Just dashes, dashes for 5 seconds. This provides much more utility and also more depth. Like if you need healing, you'll go with the slashes, play defensively. If you need slashes, you can play offensively. Okay, so Kenji, even with my reworks, the first gadget, 15 seconds compared to 17. Of course, this is assuming it doesn't activate after usage, because otherwise it would be 18 and 17. The first one could be better if it would allow you to do only slashes as well, because you could heal a lot back, but healing 50% of the damage you took instantly is still going to be better overall with this cooldown. Dashy Dash should be maybe like 10 seconds, plus Amaki healing can maintain it 70 seconds. It wouldn't be busted because it doesn't boost reload speed and it's only of the ammo you got. Realistically, you're going to use 3, maybe 4 ammo. At that point, you're pretty much fine. And you can still dash away if you want to. If you don't want to heal up, you just want to get out of there. This video was inspired by Fofo Tom, so if you want to see someone's opinion on every gadget in the game, give it a watch. But let me know what you think, and until next time.